We begin here at 6 with breaking news. A stunning fall from grace for former House Speaker Mike Madigan.
The man once nicknamed the Velvet Hammer for his soft but driving political style, sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for corruption. Our Sabrina Francis spent the day in the courtroom. She kicks off our team coverage.
Joe, Erica, the Velvet Hammer, now convicted criminal. This was a trial that lasted 11 weeks, resulting from an investigation over 10 years. The jury deliberated over the course of 11 days. Nothing in this case was taken lightly. Mike Madigan left the federal courthouse after being sentenced to 90 months in prison. That's 7.5 years for 10 charges of bribery, conspiracy, and fraud. He took no questions, his face emotionless, as it was pretty much all day in the courtroom. Madigan was originally charged in a 23-count indictment. His case, possibly the largest case of political corruption in Illinois state history. In fact, at one point during sentencing today, federal prosecutors even referenced another corruption trial for former Governor Rod Blagojevich. They argued Madigan's case was even worse because governors, they said, come and go, but Madigan stayed in the House of this position as Illinois House Speaker for decades. At one point today, Madigan spoke to the judge in his own defense, taking a big gulp of water before he did so, saying he was, quote, truly sorry for putting the people of Illinois through this and asking for mercy so that he can care for his wife, who is battling cancer. Judge Blakey said the apology was not enough, citing that even though Madigan has a record of public service, is a proven dedicated father, grandfather, and husband, he still did what he did knowingly, and knowingly, he says, obstructed justice by testifying and lying under oath. He called Madigan's testimony nauseating, adding, quote, "You lied, sir, you lied." Now, we mentioned Madigan didn't take any questions. Neither did prosecutors following this decision, but they did just issue a statement. I'll read a portion of it. They say, quote, "Corruption at the highest level of the state legislature tears at the fabric of a vital governing body." Now, Madigan left with his family tonight, but he will have to report to prison at a later date, and the location that he will have to report to is still to be determined.
Was there any reaction at all in the courtroom from him or anyone on his team?
At some points, he started fidgeting with his hands, but truly, Joe, that was about it. He otherwise, at times, sat back, had his hand on his chin, but that was it. He was stone cold pretty much the entire day.
Okay. Sabrina, thanks.
Our Charlie DeMar is also standing by. He is at the courthouse for us. And Charlie, Madigan's sentence was harsher than a few legal analysts predicted it might be.
And Marie and Joe, at the heart of this case is public corruption, and there's been no shortage of public officials tried and ultimately convicted here at the Dirksen Federal Building. As we mentioned, Mike Madigan sentenced to 7.5 years. Ed Burke was sentenced to 2 years in this building, George Ryan 6.5, and Rod Blagojevich to 14 years. And Rod Blagojevich's case was even mentioned in court today by the judge. I do want to bring in CBS legal analyst Irv Miller. Irv, this is a wide range of sentence time for public corruption. Can you just talk to me about the wide range from 2 years all the way up to 14?
Well, frankly, the system isn't supposed to work that way. People who are convicted of similar crimes are, under the law, supposed to get similar sentences. And to say, on one hand, where you have Ed Burke at 2 and another extreme, you get Blagojevich got 14, it's kind of hard to say why there's such a disparity. And that's, frankly, what the sentencing guidelines were supposed to cure, but obviously they haven't.
The judge took in a number of factors. Madigan's ailing wife, his age being 83 years old, but ultimately on the other side that tipped the scales also was the fact that Madigan took the stand and lied during his own trial, and that he also showed no remorse throughout the entire trial and even today at his sentencing. 2
big mistakes, and it cost him. I suspect his sentence would have been a lot lower had he not perjured himself. Also been a lot lower if he would have shown remorse. But I don't think that was going to happen with Michael Madigan. From day one, he said, you know, I didn't do it, and he was not going to take the next step to show remorse just to get a couple years off the sentence. That's the kind of guy he is.
Irv Miller, thank you so much. The judge today called this a tale of 2 Mikes. The Mike Madigan who did so much as a public servant for so many years, and then the Mike Madigan who was hungry for power. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Dramatic afternoon for sure. Charlie, thank you.
Much more on the sentencing of Mike Madigan coming up tonight at 10. And you can always get the latest on our website, cbschicago.com.